current NHS system is not sustainable. We have got to find a radical solution in order that the NHS can continue in all the aspects that we value most.
This is a very complex thing that we've got to get right for the patients, and we have to work out what are the things that we have to get all right all the time to improve patient care.
All of us have got bright ideas across the 4 CCGs, and we're putting together all our bright ideas, teasing out the bits that work and making it local for each of us.
CCGs are powerful organisations, they're here to stay, and these changes really are putting general practice into the driving seat.
We have 4 very vibrant clinical commissioning groups, all of which have a unique identity, and it's crucial that we keep the unique identity for each CCG in each of the populations it serves. But we have a lot of shared problems. Patients who have a lot of common health needs, we share a lot of providers, and in order to get the best care commissioned, we need to tackle problems together.
When we set up the collaborative, we were very clear that we wanted independence for the decision making at local level, and 90% of the decisions will be made at local CCG level to enable CCGs to maintain their sovereignty. But there are situations where it's much better to be done on a collaborative basis. But our member organisation of GP practices are very clear as well. They want us to be a locally focused CCG working on behalf of our local patients. But that doesn't stop us from working collaboratively on some of the major areas that we have to work with.
We share some things, and where we agree, we can agree at a CCG level. So the structure of some of the collaborative meetings are that they would recommend to a CCG, but it always is the CCG that makes the final decision, and that's how it should be.
The thing that matters to me is that as a collaborative, we've got clout to do big things, and you can't do the big things without that. And that's why it's a reasonably large proportion of our work, but the major part of our work is actually what we're doing locally in our local CCGs with our local GPs. If you can share your resources, you can actually afford to put a big team in to do something and then devolve it all locally afterwards.
As a large group with a large budget, we can now go to some of these very big providers, hospital trusts and other mental health trusts, community trusts, and say, this is how we would like services delivered in the future.
I think the best example we have so far of how we are working to improve care for patients is about how we have tackled a long-standing issue with waiting times for a key service at one of our major providers.
Patients played a key part in identifying those problems. As a collaborative, we were able to bring these stories together, and we were able to then feed back to the system, to the people who were managing the contracts, to say, look, the figures that you're being given as managers may appear to be fine, but that's not the story that's coming from the grassroots.
The GPs decided that the approach the PCT had taken was not good enough, and as a result we have commissioned another provider to provide care for our patients as well. So GPs can now offer patients a choice of provider A or provider B. And I think that is a testament to GPs wanting to get the best for their patients.
You can't make well-informed commissioning decisions, and you can't evaluate the effectiveness of services unless you fully engage with patients and really listen to what they have to say.
We are referring to the services, the patients are using the services and then coming back and giving us feedback on the services. We therefore are in a really good position to be designing new services together with the patient reps for the advantages of all our patients.
I think it is absolutely essential that each CCG shapes the services that it's buying in collaboration with local partners. We are getting a very strong steer, which I think is entirely appropriate and energising for the system, between local patients, local staff and our local authority. Also, of course, the GPs. So we are very accountable in a very short spread, if you like, of people, right back to the grassroots, right back to the practices and their patients.
We found it very, very difficult historically to try and develop services in the community and transfer work out of the secondary care sector. We're determined to make it work, and now as a collaborative we're very powerful, working on behalf of 4 CCGs. Acute Trusts are listening to us much more carefully, and we're now able to really achieve our goals.
You talk to patients, what you often get is this sense that you have to tell your story 20 times and you have to start at the beginning again, and the approach of out of hospital is that lots of patients with complex needs actually need to have a more coherent approach, and I would like a patient to get the feeling that somebody understands my situation and can speak to the right person and get the thing I need or the service I need.
There is a large amount of financial risk in clinical commissioning groups, and sharing that risk across a large population of over 800,000 people minimises any potential problems for any CCG.
We've agreed that patients who cost more than, I think it's about £50,000, will actually come out of a risk pool. Critical care will come out of a risk pool. It just gives us some scope and some leeway and some comfort within our individual budgets when you get an unexpected spend.
I think we may be in for some challenging times, but I am sure by working as a collaborative of CCGs, a collaborative of commissioners, we will be able to drive up quality.
The crucial thing for us as a collaborative is to recognise the complexity of the situation we face, but always bear in mind, what is this like for the patient? Is this actually making a difference for the patient?